Winston, then I pass it to my nigga. She a flipper. Got a gone off the liquor.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. So to head over to manhourradio.com, check out the merchandise page, so check out the blog section as well. New blogs are always dropping over there each and every day. So if you are a reading type of connoisseur person, go over out there and check it out. Good things happening over there at manhourradio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are officially 100 days from the NFL football season. Kansas City Chiefs versus Detroit Lions. We are officially 100 days away. Wrap your head around that. 100 days. Sure, it sounds like a lot. I give you that. But you know what you can do in 100 days? You can lose 20 pounds. You could kick a habit. You can watch Man Hour at least 65 more times. Great show for you guys lined up today, guys. It is If and Then Wednesday here. We are going to talk about Tyler Boyd. We're going to talk more about Devante Adams. Imagine that. That guy's back in the news. We're going to talk about Scary Terry. Jameis Winston still says he's a starter in the NFL. Okay. Super Bowl hangover. Will the Eagles have a Super Bowl hangover? Bill Belichick breaking some more rules. John Gruden back in the news again. What? John Gruden still able to coach? Really? But first things first. As always, we got to jump in to Buck's thoughts.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Now, usually we start the show off with this, but today we're mixing it up because we got to dive into some more Le'Veon Bell. I'm going to try to make my name again, come back to the NFL talk again. Guys, as you guys know, Le'Veon Bell hasn't played in the NFL since 2020, so he's been out of the league for roughly 2 to 3 seasons. He's 31 years old. In NFL running back lifetime, he is way over the hill. He has 1 foot in the grave. Let's just be honest about it. But we talked about how he was regretful about how he left Pittsburgh Steelers. But then I dove deeper into the article. I actually sat down, listened to the whole podcast, read the article that was wrote about it, and this guy is making himself sound like a POS, an officially piece of shit. Le'Veon Bell comes out and says that he smoked pot before each and every NFL game. Pause right there, Le'Veon Bell. You are supposed to be a role model to these kids. You are supposed to be like people that you want to look up to. You want to make a comeback to the NFL. You're saying that you smoke pot in the NFL. That is a rules violation. That is a federal crime. Let's just be honest about it. It can be legalized in Indiana and Kentucky and New York, California, Colorado, wherever you want. But at the end of the day, it's still a federal crime. Thirdly, who wants to be classified as a stoner? Like, it isn't a cool thing. Like, I smoke pot before every game and I did just fine. That's not cool, man. It is not cool. Then he dove deeper. He says, when he was with the New York Football Jets, Adam Gase was the worst play caller I've ever experienced. Well, we all know that. You are just hatching old wounds at that point for all of you New York Jets fans. Adam Gase was a terrible hire. Let's just be honest about it. There's no need to come out about it. But if you guys flash back to 2019 when he's with the Kansas City Chiefs, won a Super Bowl ring. That next year he come out and he criticized Andy Reid's play calling. So my man, you can't have it like both ways. Andy Reid is arguably one of the best head coaches in the NFL. Play calling, suspect at times, sure. You won a freaking Super Bowl. You sat there on the practice squad. You played one playoff game, had like 256 yards the whole season. But come on, man. Le'Veon Bell, it is time for you to shut your damn mouth. It is time for you to ride off into the sunset and think about what could have been. Go smoke your blunt or whatever you want to do, but you are a piece of shit at the end of the day. I used to be a fan of you. I thought you were one of the greatest running backs in the NFL when you were the Pittsburgh Steelers. After reading this podcast, or after listening to this podcast, reading the articles and diving into Twitter and all that crap, you are a piece of shit. I never want to see my kids even put their name, your name in their mouth. I will smack the silly out of their mouth if that happens. My kids start football this season. My dude wants to be a running back. Am I going to play highlight tapes of like you for him to watch? Absolutely not. I would rather play freaking Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, CMC, Mike Lewis Jr. Who is that exactly? Jesus. Get out of here with that crap, my man. Come on, dude. All righty, guys. Welcome back to the Man Hour. We got to welcome some people into the chat. We got my man Arthur Brown jumping in the chat. He says, "What's up, baby?" Yes, sir. What's up, Arthur Brown? Be safe out there, my guy. Always be safe. Mark Lewis is jumping in the chat, my fellow Kansas City Chiefs dude. He says Le'Veon Bell is full of shit. That's a fact. Yeah. He is. He's just looking to be relevant still. Yeah. Aren't all like over the hill players that like could have been great, right? And they decided to like, hey, I'm going to totally F my career up and go do this, and this. At some point, like, man, we really did mess up. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, hell, Terrell Owens did it for a little while too. I don't know. Exactly. He just wants to be in the conversation. We all like to be in the conversation, but right now Le'Veon Bell is in the wrong conversation. I respected him all up until I read that article and listened to the podcast. Now I don't ever want to speak with him again. Dan Hood is in the chat as well, dropping the fire emojis. What is up, Dan Hood? We're going to talk about your Philadelphia Eagles here coming up, Mr. Dan Hood. He's a huge Jalen Hurts fan and Philadelphia Eagles fan, and we're going to talk about a Super Bowl hangover. What happens if the Eagles have a Super Bowl hangover? But guys, it is Wednesday. It is if and then Wednesday. It is simply put, we give you a statement that says this, and then I will say you then this will happen. It's very, very simple, very, very cut and dry. But first, we got to get into some new news. Some news around the NFL on this May 31st edition. Last day of May, guys. 100 days until the NFL season. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions. Get excited. The last time we saw Jared Goff and the Kansas City Chiefs versus Patrick Mahomes, it was a 54-51 game. Let's not forget about that. Back and forth Monday night. Oh, man, that game had me on my edge. Even though the Chiefs came out on the short end of the stick, that was a great game to watch. If you guys don't remember that game, flash back to it, go to the NFL Network or whatever, watch it. It was a great, great game. New news here. New news. Tyler Boyd has come out and said that if he would have been healthy in the AFC Championship game, the Bengals would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyler Boyd, you're a 40 yards per catch last season. That wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. You being healthy in that game wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. Yes, it was a 23-20 game. The Chiefs ran down the field and kicked the last-second field goal to win that game. But let's just be honest. The Chiefs pretty much dominated that whole game. If I remember correctly, the Bengals were just never in it. It's just, hell, let me pull up the ESPN analytics right now. Yeah, the Bengals never had a chance to win that game. It was always Chiefs. It was all red. You had a 50% chance about, half, like halftime. But let's just be honest. Come, Tyler Boyd, shut your damn mouth. Jeez. Nobody was beating the Chiefs last year. They were people on mission. Deshaun Watson says he would love to be reunited with DeAndre Hopkins. Well, no shit. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want D-Hop on their team at this point? Let's just be honest about it. Come on, dude. John Gruden was in New Orleans and helped with Derek Carr at Saints OTA. Guys, do you remember that John Gruden was trying to get Derek Carr out of town the whole time he was in there? Why in the hell is he in New Orleans helping him out? What? That seems kind of asinine, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. The Jacksonville Jaguars said they will be easing Calvin Ridley into OTAs to, quote, work off the rust. That's fairly smart. The man's been out for a year. That is when a lot of injuries happen, is when a player that's been out for a while tries to go full speed and tears an Achilles or something, right? So that is smart. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a waiver to play for the Raiders this season. As you guys have missed it, he had a foot surgery the day after he signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. And after reading deeper into that contract, if Jimmy G cannot play at all this season, he gets no money. $0 bills, y'all. Raiders might be doing something right finally. Shit. Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask are splitting first-team reps at OTA. Is this a big deal? Give Kyle Trask a little bit of leverage, right? Just keep Baker Mayfield hungry. A hungry Baker Mayfield is a dangerous Baker Mayfield. Look out, world. Arthur Brown, your boy, Baker Mayfield, is going to start this season. Amari Cooper should be ready for OTAs this week, said head coach for the Cleveland Browns. If you guys missed it, he had abdominal surgery this off season to repair a sports hernia. Guys, this is huge for the Cleveland Browns. Amari Cooper has to be good, has to be ready to go 100%. Jumping back in the chat here, Mark Lewis says he cannot wait till the NFL season. Me neither, man. Chiefs, Lions, I got tickets. My other half doesn't know yet, but I got tickets. We're going. We're going to be section 101. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to be there, baby. Tyler Boyd and Le'Veon Bell are both full of shit, he says. Nailed it. Tyler Boyd is also going to be wanting a huge contract coming up here. Does he deserve it? Maybe. Maybe if you want to pay somebody like Christian Kirk and really overreach. But hey, it is what it is. Mark Lewis said they should do that with Calvin Ridley. Yeah, exactly right. Ease him back in there. Don't rush. It is just OTAs. And even though 100 days does sound like a long ways away, it's not a long days away, but it is a grind. It is we definitely need to ease him back in here. Oh my God, Baker Mayfield? Yep, Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just keep the man hungry. Let Kyle Trask think he has a chance. Baker Mayfield is saying, hold my bandana. Let me go do this Hulu commercial real quick. Let me jack off to the crowd, and bada bing, bada boom, I'm throwing dimes, baby. Arthur Brown asks a question here. It says, what about the December 24th game, Cowboys and Fins? Are you going? I would love to go to the Dallas Cowboys versus Miami Dolphins game. A goal of mine is to go to all 32 NFL stadiums. I have the stadium poster board here. We've only gone to 4 or 5 since I've been married, right? We've been to Arrowhead, Lucas Oil. We went to Lambeau. Shoot, have we only been to 3? No. We've been more than that, haven't we? But yeah, I obviously it is Christmas Eve. I have 2 young boys. My mom and dad usually come into town as well. So if I can convince them, like, hey, instead of Christmas, let's go to Miami. Instead of buying Christmas presents, let's buy football tickets. I know my other half would be down. I know my wife would be down. Mom would probably be down. Dad would probably it's Christmas. We'll see what happens. If anything, dump the kids off at the grandparents' house. Me and the other half, bada bing, bada boom. We down in Miami. We partying, baby. What? Yeah, but I'm doing everything in my power to go to this game. So yes, Arthur Brown. As of right now, we are going. Do I have tickets yet? No. We'll probably wait till Thanksgiving to when Miami is officially out of it and ticket sales dropped like $80 a ticket. That would be ideal, right? Because we all know the Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl this season. If you know, then you know. He says, when you are there and if we go, we will have to link up. We'll have to have a beer. We'll have to have a good time. I will wear a Cowboys jersey because I am a passive Cowboys fan. I grew up as a Cowboys fan because I always looked up to like my uncle. But obviously I was Chiefs fan at heart, like when it comes down to it. You wish, he says. I don't wish. I just speak the facts over here at Man Hour. Speaking of facts, it is time for If and Then Wednesday here. Conjunction Wednesday is officially upon us here. Basically, guys, we have comments that are out there, and I say, if this happens, then this will happen. So take it back to the 5th grade science fair. Write your hypotenuse out there. If this happens, then this will happen. And then we got to do some experience, and then we get a conclusion, right? We don't worry about the conclusion. We don't worry about the science. We just want the physiological statement of if and then, and that's exactly what we are going to talk about. With that being said, Devante Adams continues to speak out on the podcast that he was on, saying, ranting and raving and doing all this other crap. But then the topic of the Green Bay Packers came up about his contract situation, about Aaron Rodgers' situation, yada, yada, yada. And Devante Adams said, and I quote, "I was offered less than Christian Kirk. That was the ultimate smack in the face. I knew at that point I had to get out of town." First of all, $18 million is a lot of money. I don't care if you are a football player, a baseball player, or a plumber down the street. $18 million is a lot of money. Granted, it wasn't the $50+ million that Aaron Rodgers was going to make, yada, yada, yada. But we all know that quarterbacks make a hell of a lot more money than everybody else on the on the team. So I'm going to ask this question. What if the NFL was more like the NBA as far as salary cap goes? When I say that, we are talking about max contracts. So this is one thing that I think the NBA does well is they have a max contract, right? The $235 million, that is the most a player can make, the super max or whatever, right? What if the NFL had this? What if a receiver can only make $18 million? What if a quarterback can only make $20 million? Of course, if you stay with your team, you can get like a $3 or $4 million extra bonus, right? So if the NFL was more like the NBA during the salary cap, then what? Then I think we would see a lot more super teams. Let's just be honest. If Patrick Mahomes could only make $20 million a season and we have a $300 million salary cap, right? Players would start to, it's just $3 extra million. Let's go build a powerhouse at the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Let's go to Indy and make a powerhouse team. Let's go to New England and make a powerhouse team. So if the NFL was more like the NBA as far as salary cap terms, there would be a lot more super teams. There would be a lot more dynasties. There would be a lot more not equality in the NFL. from top to bottom, what makes the NFL so great is literally any given Sunday, any team can win. Right now, if the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs go on the field, everybody will be picking the Chiefs to win the game, right? But let's just be honest. The Houston Texans are going to battle. The Chiefs slip up one time. The Houston Texans can capitalize on that. Bada bing, bada boom. It is over, baby, right? Now, you can say, oh, the NBA is the same way. Not really. One player can change the whole outcome of the NBA game. Well, Major League Baseball the same way. No. If you suck at baseball, you suck at baseball. Like, it is what it is. That is why the NFL is the greatest thing. So, salary cap is totally fine. So, if the NBA or if the NFL was more like the NBA as far as salary cap terms, then the NFL would not be as good. It is what it is. Let me know in the comments, guys, what do you guys think about that? Would the NFL be more successful if it was like the NBA as far as salary cap terms? Do we need a cap of like a supermax and a max and all that crap? It is what it is. We can link and tailgate. Hell yeah. I'm a tailgating fool. I'm from Kansas, baby. That's all we do. We know how to drink beer and eat hot dogs. Mark Lewis said that should be a great game, though, talking about the Dallas Cowboys versus the Miami Dolphins. It should, on paper. As of right now, it could be one of the games of the year, Mark Lewis. You are absolutely right. But let's just be honest. Once November hits and the Miami Dolphins are sitting at 3 wins and the Dallas Cowboys are sitting at an undefeated record, is it going to be that great a game? I'm kidding. Or am I? No, I'm joking. Fins for the win. It's going for a long ride back to Indy for Buck. If Miami Dolphins beat the Dallas Cowboys Christmas Eve, I'll ride the airplane naked. I will put on a Miami Dolphins Speedo and sit in my middle seat. So whoever sits next to me on like either side has to look at the big old dolphin symbol right across my wiener the whole way home. Oh man, shoot! I better start Googling freaking my Miami Dolphin Speedos now, because every time I put money on the Dallas Cowboys or bet for the Dallas Cowboys, they're like, hey, hold my beer. I'm going to throw 6 interceptions and blow this lead. Oh man. Oh, sheesh. Like when we look at the NFL this season, now you always have your front runners, right? You always have those 4, 5, 6 teams that are like, man, those guys are going to be really, really good. As long, like, barring any injury, right? Any serious injury whatsoever, like they're going to be really, really good. Like this NFL season, kind of to me is like one of the most intriguing that we've had in a long time, because even the Houston Texans have an opportunity to be a really good team. Yes, they were like the worst team in the NFL last season, minus the Chicago Bears, but you know, they lose that one game. They are the worst team. But there is so much parity in the NFL right now. I'm just really, really excited. 100 days cannot come fast enough for me and the Buck household 100%. Scary Terry is out in the news. Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin says Sam Howell has, quote, taken the offseason by the horns. Guys, the Commanders football team, Redskins, whatever their new name is going to be, they have a pretty good team put together over there. Let's just be honest. Just a couple of seasons ago, my man Torrey Anderson had them going 13-3. Obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick went down like the second play of the game, and we kind of saw what happened there. But the team's kind of gotten better. Scary Terry, all the boys, whatever, right? So this question has to be asked. If Sam Howell is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this season, then what? Like I just said, guys, the Washington Commanders are a very, very good team. They have a really good nucleus put together. They do have Scary Terry. They have Curtis Samuels, right? They have Brian Robinson Jr. running the ball. They have Jacoby Brissett as a backup. They still have Chase Young, Montez Sweat, right? Kendon Fuller. This defense is a really, really good defense. This offense really has no big names, but they're a really, really good collective team. Plus, Ron Rivera is a really, really good coach. Whether you want to say it or not, he's still a really, really good coach. He had a couple down seasons because, the death of his wife is a big thing, right? Going through throat surgery is a really bad thing, right? But let's just say Sam Howell is a top 10 quarterback. If he is out there getting 300 plus yards a game, if he is out there being very efficient, has like a QBR like 90 plus, right? The Washington Commanders are legit a Super Bowl contending team if they have a top 10 quarterback play from Sam Howell. The biggest Achilles heel for the Washington Commanders right now, I feel, is the quarterback play. They have been a, quote, quarterback away the last couple seasons. And if Sam Howell is a top 10 quarterback, watch out. Dallas Cowboys, watch out. Philadelphia Eagles, watch out. NFC as a whole, watch out. Vikings, Packers, 49ers, whoever, watch out. Now, am I thinking Sam Howell is going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? To be determined, right? To be determined. Last season, he was just a 57% completion passer in those few games that he did play toward the very end of the season. 11 for 19 for just 169, one touchdown, one interception for a QBR of 83. So a repeat performance of that's not a top 10 quarterback. But if you double those yards, double those interceptions, double those touchdowns, keep the interceptions down to like 2-to-1 ratio, a QBR of like 90, could be. But realistically, the Washington Commanders are still a quarterback away. You can think of all the top 10 quarterbacks you want. You think Sam Howell can be the guy. Scary Terry can be a top receiver in the NFL. Brian Robertson can run the hell out of the rock. But they still have Sam Howell at quarterback. Top 10 or not, if he is a top 10 quarterback, Super Bowl bound. If he's less than top 10, they are a 6-win team. They are a 6-win team at best. It is what it is. It is what it is. Jameis Winston has come out in the media and says he feels he is still a starting quarterback in the NFL. Jameis Winston signed a 1-year contract with the New Orleans Saints this offseason to keep him in New Orleans, but guess what? They brought old Derek Carr in for $70 million or whatever it was, right? And he obviously will be the starter. Jameis Winston will be the backup for New Orleans this season. So if Jameis Winston really is still a starter in the NFL, then what? Guys, if Jameis Winston was still a starter in the NFL, he would have been on an NFL team, not the New Orleans Saints. He would have went to Houston. He would have went to possibly the New York Jets. He could have went to how about the Cardinals? Kyler Murray won't be ready till week 9. Colt McCoy won't be ready till like week 5, right? He would have went to the 49ers to compete for that starting job, to bring, quote, the veteran guy in. He would have went back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers. The truth of the matter is, Jameis Winston, he has never really been a very good quarterback. Yes, he threw for 5,000 yards. Yes, he threw for the 30 touchdowns, also threw for 30 interceptions, right? Had a LASIK eye surgery, all this other crap, yada, yada, yada. But he is not a starter in the NFL. It is what it is. There are some people out there that are just not meant to be leaders, not to be head coaches. Eric Bieniemy, a really, really good offensive coordinator. There's a reason why he hasn't been a head coach. Josh McDaniels, a really, really good offensive coordinator, terrible head coach. Bill O'Brien, really good offensive coordinator, terrible head coach. Colt McCoy, a really, really good backup, can come in there for 3 games, horrible starter. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a good 3-game stretch, Fitzmagic for 400 plus yards or 4 games in a row. He's a starter. He shits the bed. Right? There are just some people out there that are just meant to be backups, and I think Jameis Winston is one of those guys. So if Jameis Winston is a starter in the NFL, he would not be on the Saints. He would not be on the Saints. He would be the Texans, Cardinals, Jets, 49ers, somewhere besides New Orleans. Not saying he's a terrible quarterback. Don't get that twisted. He just isn't a starter. Just not a starter. And that's exactly what Mark Lewis has come in the chat and says Winston is a good backup. Every NFL team, Mark, needs a good backup. Let me repeat that. Every NFL team needs a good backup. Spanning the NFL season to 17 games has opened up Pandora's box to injury, right? Has opened up, the opportunity for a backup to play 3 or 4 games, have really 3 or 4 good games while the starter is on injured, right? It is what it is. That extra game literally changed the whole dynamic of the NFL season. Because before, if you were to miss 3 or 4 games, you would literally be missing a quarter of the season, right? Your team can go from first place to last place in those 3 or 4 games. Now, I'm not saying it's totally different now, but those 3 or 4 games are not as meaningful as they once was. Now, if Jameson, let's say Derek Carr does get hurt. He's out 3 weeks. Jameis Winston can come in and win 2 of those 3 games. That's what you're there for. You are there. You are there to be a plug and play for a couple weeks while Russell Wilson gets his hand fixed. While wasn't it when Drew Brees broke his thumb and Winston came in? No, that was freaking what's his name? Taysom Hill, right? I don't know. It is what it is. What would you say if the Buffalo Bills do not make the playoffs without D-Hop? You are right about the Commanders quarterback anyway. What would you say what if I said the Buffalo Bills do not make the playoffs without D-Hop? Well, Mark Lewis, I said this exact same thing yesterday. I said the Buffalo Bills are a sinking ship. They have been treading water the last couple seasons, kind of just getting by pure talent, by pure, strength of schedule. Their schedule hasn't been the hardest, let's just be honest. But I think this year, the water found the hole in the boat. I think this year, they will be sinking faster and faster and faster. The Buffalo Bills, let's flash back to the 2022 NFL season. Opening week, the Buffalo Bills traveled to, LA, right? Super Bowl champions. Going to be a great game, yada, yada, yada. Buffalo Bills flexed on the Rams. They said, hold my beer, put the ketchup on the table. I'm diving through that MMFer. Here we go. Brandon B.C. Combs flat out said on the show, for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, the Buffalo Bills may not lose a game. They're the most dominant team in the NFL. This and this and this and this and this, right? Then what happened? Week 7 happened. They lose a game. I believe it was to the Miami Dolphins. They lose that game. They are not a very good team. Oh, it's just a fluke. It's just a divisional game, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Then Josh Allen started to throw interception after interception after interception. Last season, guys, the first half of the season, the Buffalo Bills were very, very dominant. Second half of the season, right? Losing their offensive coordinator was very, very bad for them. This year, it will rear his ugly head even better. Even better. So I agree with you, Mark. I do think the Buffalo Bills will miss the playoffs this season if they don't get some type of help. Whether it be a receiver. Is the receiver the answer? I don't know. I think it's getting a new offensive coordinator. I think they need to figure out something, right? But it is what it is. So, guys, I actually had a toxic comment brought up today. We will be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles here in a second. But my man Eric over here, let's go ahead and jump into the toxic comment of the day.
Toxic comment of the day.
It never ceases to amaze me how people want to come after my mama. What? Eric over there in the YouTube chat says, your mom takes the BBC even better than like you do. Okay, after he dropped the N-word, he said my mama is a hoe. He says, you need to figure something out. Oh, and here he goes again. He's starting to type the N-word again. Congratulations, Eric. Dude, you are the biggest douchebag I've seen in my whole entire life. You must be a Colin Kaepernick fan, right? Oh, the Colin Kaepernick's not in the NFL because he's black. No, he's not in the NFL because he sucks. Let's just be honest. He sucks. Thanks, bud. No, Eric. Thank you for bringing the toxicity to the man hour and everything that you do. I hope you do great, man, because you officially have the toxic comment of the day. Oh, I'm racist now. I'm racist because Colin Kaepernick sucks. Oh, Colin Kaepernick sucks, so that makes me racist. Oh, here we go. No, Colin Kaepernick is the worst freaking quarterback in the NFL. 1-11 his last season in the NFL. He sat the bench because he threw like 18 interceptions in a row. 18 interceptions to 1 touchdown, 1-11 after he led a Alex Smith-built team to the playoffs. I love being toxic to racist people. I'm racist because I'm white. Arthur Brown says, Eric sounds mad. Eric is just in here trying to be a tool bag, and he is getting to be a tool bag. Are you racist because your mom takes the BBC? My mom does take the BBC. She loves it. She loves that BBC. That makes me half and half, right? So how can I be racist if I'm half black? Oh, right. Black people can't be racist. I'm totally kidding. Anyway, guys, back to the show here. Had to give Eric his 5 minutes of fame since he wants to drop the N-word. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, back to Arthur Brown says block him. Why block him? I see his comments and it doesn't get underneath my skin. It doesn't bother me. Just think about this, Arthur. Every time Eric comments over here in the YouTube page, it triggers the algorithm. More people come see it. I love it. I love it, baby. It is what it is. Back to if and then statements of the day here. Super Bowl hangover is a real thing in the NFC. It is a proven fact that the NFC loser from the Super Bowl has a very, very bad next season. LA Rams, San Francisco 49ers, right? The list goes on and on and on. NFC Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. A Super Bowl hangover is when a NFC team loses in the Super Bowl and the following season they struggle all season long. So the Philadelphia Eagles are the losers of the Super Bowl last season. Last season, they had a very easy schedule. Call a spade a spade. Their schedule was cake. This season, the schedule gets a little harder. This year, their schedule goes from a 28th ranked schedule to like a top 10 ranked schedule. I don't know exactly where they're ranked. I have to go get my paper over there. But they do have a tougher schedule. So if the Philadelphia Eagles have a Super Bowl hangover, then what? Guys, if the Philadelphia Eagles have a Super Bowl hangover, all of the haters will be proved right. All of the naysayers will be proved right. The Philadelphia Eagles had a great run last season. Jalen Hurts played out of his mind. MVP level. Probably should have won the MVP. Let's just be honest. He was truly the most valuable player on the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw how bad the Eagles were without Jalen Hurts on the field. Those 3 games that he missed, not very good. When he was on, they were heads and shoulders. They were a Super Bowl team. But with that being said, if they miss the playoffs If they don't make a deep playoff run, then the haters will be proved right. The naysayers will be proved right. Buck Nasty will be proved right. I said all season long last year that I didn't think the Philadelphia Eagles were that good. I was proved wrong last year. I will take that shovel to the head on that one. I thought they were going to be a first round playoff exit. I truly thought that. But they are not a very good team. They have really good pieces. Jalen Hurts is really good. A.J. Brown is really, really good. But they signed DeAndre Swift. Nah, okay. Defense is pretty good. Offensive line, pretty good. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, right? The rest of the boys. But guess what? A year older, a year slower, a year with more injuries. If the Philadelphia Eagles do not make the playoffs this season and the Super Bowl hangover is real, then all the haters will come out. All those Jalen Hurts people will be like, oh, he's overrated. He's this, he's this, he's this. You overpaid for him. You paid him too early. I concur with that. I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles paid Jalen Hurts too early. I saw something in the chat here. Eric actually comes out with a good comment and says Jalen Hurts is overrated. Guys, let's flash back, not last year, but the year before that. All the experts out there, all the NFL network guys, ESPN, CBS, hell, even the Philadelphia media, the Heavy on the Phillies podcast, come out and said Jalen Hurts might be a bust. He has to have a great season for him to even be considered a fifth-year option and all this other stuff. Then last season, he had that MVP level of a season. So from 2022, they're saying, "Oh man, this guy's might be a bust. He might be crap." And the next year, he balls out. Had a really good season. Let's not get that twisted. He had a really good season. To backing up that Brinks truck for him. Overrated might be an overreach, but he has definitely been overpaid for the performances that he has done as a career. Not last season, but as an overall career, he has definitely been overpaid and might be. This year, we'll see if he's overrated or not. Arthur Brown comes out and says, I don't see anyone in the NFC beating Philadelphia. The problem with that is the Philadelphia Eagles, like I said, they went from a pretty much of a cakewalk of a season, schedule-wise, to a runner-up Super Bowl schedule. The Washington Commanders will be better. The New York Giants will be better. The Dallas Cowboys, in theory, should be better, right? When we pull up the Philadelphia Eagles schedule, they might quite arguably have one of the hardest stretches in the NFL. They play the Jets, they play the Dolphins, and they play the Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills, 49ers, then Cowboys again. All right in the heart of the season. From November to December, they could easily go 0-6. Losses to the Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, the Cowboys. Hell, you can throw the Dolphins in there and the Commanders. Their schedule is not easy at all. When we say we don't see anybody beating the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC, week number 2 is going to be a very, very true test. They play the Minnesota Vikings week 2. I believe it's Monday Night Football, right? No, it's Thursday Night Football. Sorry. And then they got the Cowboys. Very, very good team. The 49ers, very, very good team. Giants, a really, really good team. There will be teams that can beat the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. The Cowboys, the Vikings, the 49ers, if Trey Lance starts, not Brock Purdy. What other? I'm going to throw the Packers up there. I think the Packers are going to be a very, very sneaky good team. Right? There's 4 teams that can beat them. Watch out. Barkley still hasn't re-signed with the New York Jets or Giants, correct? But he will. He will eventually. But it is time to get into the true toxic comment of the day. Let's go.
Toxic comment of the day.
Every day, guys, we get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of comments over on our Facebook, facebook.com/manhour. We post things, and bada bing, bada bop, bada boom, you always get that toxic comment out there. This particular toxic comment was it was about Lamar Jackson. It says, despite signing $260 million contract, Lamar Jackson still has in his relatively modest home that he bought for less than $1 million. So when we think of like a toxic comment, normally is like straight up in your face, I know this is a toxic comment, right? Like, I know flat out this is what the man is trying to say. But this guy says, smart guy for all that money. When will he be needed when his career's over in 5 years? That was a subtle but very jab in the face, my man. That was a very like, hey, I am super proud of you for being in a modest home, less than $1 million, when you're making $260 million over your four years, right? But hey, you're going to need it in 5 years when you're not in the NFL. Guys, this comment went above and beyond. This was the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He's like, he's like, here's your bread, here's your compliment, here's the middle. You're going to be out of the league in 5 years, and let me complete it with like, hey, good luck. That is a perfect execution of a toxic comment. This guy nailed it. Smart guy for all that money. It will be needed when his career is over in 5 years. I don't know what to say. This guy did perfect. Perfect, man. Perfect. I love it. This is what a toxic comment is all about. This guy nailed it. I love it. All righty, guys. We also got another topic that we've been kind of dabbling with a little bit, and it is put your money where your mouth is. I wanted Eric to put his money where his mouth is, but hey, he likes to jump ship or whatever. It is what it is. But today we're going to put your money where your mouth is, and this is going to go out to the old Steelers Depot. SteelersDepot.com. They wrote an article about Mike Tomlin being named the third best coach in the NFL, and he's been praised for his non-losing season streak. So, as you guys know, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh. His tenure as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, he has never had a losing season. Now, he's had a couple 8-8 seasons and 8-1, but he has never had a losing season. But when you roll down this article, Alex Carosa, sorry, I butchered your name, but throughout this article, let's go ahead and like get those ads in there, right? He basically says we are super glad that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, but he hasn't made the playoffs since 2016. I believe that's what it said, right? Oh, Mike Tomlin are searching for their first playoff win since 2016, a drought that's gone on for way too long. So let me ask you this question, SteelersDepot.com, Alex. Are you guys like not happy, like not ever having a losing season? Like, there are only 2 teams in the last 10 years that have not had losing NFL seasons. That is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every other 30 other teams in the NFL have had a losing season in the last 10 years. Winning a playoff game is very, very hard. Winning a Super Bowl is even harder. Yes, I understand 2016 is a long time ago. Well, that's like 9-10 years ago, right? You haven't won a playoff game. Like, I get it. Hell, you guys lost to the Cleveland Browns, right? In the was it the first round of the playoffs? Like the first time ever the Browns went into Pittsburgh and beat y'all in The playoffs. I don't have my facts lined up correctly, but I thought that's like that what it was a couple years ago. Like, I get it. So, SteelersDepot.com. Alex, do you guys want to fire Mike Tomlin because he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016? Do you want to cut ties with him? Do you want to bring in Eric Bieniemy? Do you want to bring in Sean Payton? Do you want to bring in Bill Cowher back? Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, what will make you happy? A playoff win, obviously. But let's just take playoffs out of the picture. Mike Tomlin, arguably one of the greatest regular season coaches of all time. Consistently just being good enough, right? Maybe that's what the Steelers fans want. They want to fire Mike Tomlin so they can be bad. Like, we want to be bad so bad we get the first overall pick and we can get Caleb Williams next year. Is that what y'all want? Like, I don't know. But Steelers Depot, come on, guys. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Great coach. Give the man a bone. Give him a bone. We out, guys.